Hi, this is Kanaya, and today we're going to talk about the difference between a visitor and a house guest. So, now I'm going to go over the rules again to make sure everybody's aware. So, before I get to that, I want to start off with a phone call process so that everybody understands how you should call and ask someone if you can come over to their house. So so let's start off with a visitor. So a visitor is a person who comes to spend time or to stay with others or in a place. So even because of the fact that if let's say if you have a visitor come over to your house, and let's say if you have a visitor come over to your house and they want to spend some time with you, you might say, or what you can do in this situation, you could call and ask. So it says to politely call and ask if you could come over to someone's house. Start with a friendly greeting, then express your desire to visit and suggest a specific time or activity, and finally, ask for their availability or preference. Here's a more detailed guide. Start with a friendly greeting. Begin with a warm and casual greeting, like "Hi, how are you?" or "Hey, is whoever." Desire Express your desire to visit. Clearly state your intentions to visit using phrases like "I was wondering if I could come over sometime soon. I'd love to come visit you. Would that be alright? I was thinking of stopping by. Are you free?" Suggest a time, suggest a specific time or activity of optional but recommended. To make it easier for them to respond, suggest a specific time or activity. Are you free this weekend? Would you be free to grab coffee, lunch, dinner sometime this week? Would you be free to watch a movie, play some games? So these are questions that you might ask them on the phone. So that way a person can get time to respond or to think about it. Because you can't just tell somebody, "Oh, I'm coming over to your house," and and you're not giving them the chance for the person to respond. So that means if you want the person to respond, you have to ask questions and allow the person to respond, because you can't say, "Oh, I'm coming over to your house," or "Oh, I'm going to spend the night at your house." No, you have to ask them first before they say yes, because if you just tell them that you're staying there, they're going to say you can't stay there, or they're going to tell you no, because you telling them instead of you asking them, because you can't expect somebody to let you stay there if you don't ask. So that's why asking is the key. So let's see, what does it calls when you and so when you call your guests and say coming over is called. So it says, so now, what does it call when you call your guests and say that you're coming over? So when you call your guests to let them know you're coming over, is generally referred to as letting them know you're on your way or giving them a heads up. So that's means that you're inviting yourself to their house without asking, or without asking, could you come over to hang out, or you could, or because it's probably reasons why. So that's why and so so when so that's the difference. So when you call your guests and tell them that you're coming over, that means you're inviting yourself into at their house. You're inviting yourself to their house without them even saying yes or no, and it's not right for you to invite yourself as a guest when they're already home chilling, and you don't know what they're doing yet. So that's why you can't just invite yourself into someone's house. So when you arrive at someone's house without being invited, it's often referred as to crashing or gate crashing. Here's more detailed explanation. Crashing or gate crashing, these terms are commonly used to describe showing up at a party or a gathering without an invitation. Inviting yourself. While not a formal term, inviting yourself can be used to describe the action of arriving at someone's house unannounced or unprompted. Transpassion. Trespassing. If you enter someone's property without their permission and refuse to leave when asked, that could be considered trespassing. So let's see what gate crashing is. Let's see what crashing and gate crashing means, because gate crashing seems to be a good word. So let's see what is the difference between them two. So you guys can see between crashing and crash. So while both crashing and gate crashing refers to attending event without an invitation, gate crashing specifically implies entering through the gate entrance, while crashing is a broader term that can mean attending without being invited, regardless of how you get in. Here's a more breakdown. Here's a more detailed breakdown. So, gate crashing refers to entering an event without an invitation, often by bypassing security or entering through an unauthorized entrance like the gate. The term gate crash originally applied to persons getting through the gate at sports events without buying tickets. Examples: he decided to gate crash the wedding, or scores of people tried desperately to gate crash the party. Crashing means attending an event without being invited, regardless of how you gain entry, is a more general term than gate crashing. Examples: we decided to crash the party happening in our suburb, or the concert was outdoors, but having security prevented anyone from crashing the gate. so 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 that's what gate crashing is. It's about you inviting yourself to places without being invited. So now ask for their availability or preference. So politely ask if they are available or have any preferences. Do you have any plans this weekend? Are you free to come over on that day? What time works best for you? And with a polite closing. Thank them for their time and consideration. Thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. Let them know if you're free. I love to catch up. I'll look forward to hearing from you. So, the last video, I was explaining to the rules to everybody that there's rules and regulations that we must follow when we go to somebody's house. So we as guests has to respect their rules, has to respect the rules. So now you call and ask them. Or another question you might ask is, you can ask them, could you come over, or not could, but can you come over to their house? They might say yes, or they might say no. So it depends on what they have to do for in order to get a response. So now you ask all these questions. So it says what they might say about coming, so might say about coming over to their house. So now so now it says, how do I ask someone to come over to their house? So to ask someone to come over, be casual and direct. Suggest a specific time or activity, like, hey, I was thinking of and wondering if you like to come over sometime this weekend. Here are more specific examples and tips. Genuine invitations. Hey, I was thinking blank and was wondering if you like to come over sometime this week. So So, it's many ways you could ask them that you could come over to their house or stuff like that. So it says, am I doing something at my place on daytime? Would you be interested in joining? Or I'm having a type of gathering at my place on break and would like and day and time and would love for you to come. I was thinking about Blink and thought it would be fun to do it at my place. Are you free to come over sometime? Specific invitations. I got this new game, movie, etc. And I was thinking we could play and watch it at my place sometime. I'm making Blink tonight. Would you like to come over for dinner? I have I have an item I want to show you. Want to come over and I'll show it to you. I was thinking of having a Blink movie night, game night, etc. at my place. Would you be interested in joining? I'm going to be free on day and time, and I was wondering if you like to come over and Blink. Tips for a smooth invitation. Be casual. Don't make it seem like a big deal. Just a friendly suggestion. Suggestion. I don't even know why I can't even pronounce it. Oh my god. Suggestion. Suggestion. Oh god. Suggestion. Just a friendly suggestion. Be specific. Mention a specific time, activity, or reason for the visit. Offer a alternative. If they're busy, suggest another time or activity. Don't pressure. If they decline, respect their decision and don't push it. Be open to their ideas. If they suggest something else, be open to it. Follow up. If they say they're interested, make sure to follow up with a confirmation. So 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 that means everything, every question must so every question that you ask or if they ask you must be answered. So if they invite you to your house or if they invite you to your party or if they invite you to the party, you might say yes or you might say no, I'm not going to be able to make it on that day because you'll be busy on that day. So sometimes you might have to reschedule for another time. Or you might say, yeah, sure, I would like to come over. But don't invite yourself and then don't expect to come to their house unexpectedly and say that you come in and then think somebody's supposed to give you a response. So don't say, oh, I'm just coming over to your house or oh, I'm just spending the night at your house. No, that's not how it works. You ask them first. You ask them first before you come over to their house. Come over to their house. So that's why we have to make sure that the person is responding to you before you do anything else. So when someone comes to your house uninvited, when someone comes to your house uninvited, it's genuinely considered rude, but you can politely ask them to leave or call the or call the police if they refuse to leave or are causing a disturbance. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Politely ask them to leave. If you're uncomfortable with the visit, politely explain that you're not expecting company and would prefer they leave. State your reasons. You can be direct and say, I'm not expecting anyone, and I prefer if you left, or I'm busy right now and don't have time for a visit. If they refuse to leave, after being asked, you can call the you can call the police for trespassing. Trespassing. For trespassing. Document the innocent. If the person repeatedly shows up uninvited, document the innocence with dates, times, and any any details about their behavior. Consider a no trespassing sign. If you have a recurring problem with uninvited visitors, you might consider posting a no trespassing sign on your property. Safety first. If you feel unsafe or threatened, prioritize your safety and call the police immediately. But if that way, because so you don't have to call the police. So if they come to your house uninvited, you can just simply ask them to leave, you're not expecting company. So don't worry about the second solution. Just simply ask them to leave. So now we're gonna go over the rules again for a visitor. So, cause I know if you're hanging, so let's make the rules for hanging out. So when you hang out with someone and 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 you want to spend some time, or you want to spend some friendly time with them, we can socialize and do some fun activities. So as long as you follow the rules, it'll be good. So as long as you don't break the rules or do anything to make them feel um uncomfortable. So let's see what this is at their house. So when hanging out at someone's house, be respectful of their space and belongings. Clean up after yourself and be mindful of their rules and preferences. So this is the rules. So this is the rules that I was giving y'all in the last video. So you see this? So these are the rules that you must follow when you enter someone's house. So let me see. So it says, here's a more detailed breakdown of some common etiquette rules. General etiquette. Respect their space. Treat their home as you would your own. And be mindful of their belongings. Clean up after yourself. If you spill something, clean it up. If you use something, put it away. Be mindful of noise. Be mindful of the noise. Avoid loud music or TV, especially at night. Ask before entering rooms. don't just wander into bedrooms or other private areas without permission. Don't go in the fridge without asking. You see this? So that's why, let's see, let's see. So you see this? It says don't go in the fridge without permission. So that's why you have to ask first before you go in someone's fridge. So it says don't go into the fridge without asking. Check with your host before opening the fridge or grabbing anything to eat or drink. Be a good guest. Offer to help with chores clearing, such as such as clearing the tables or doing dishes. So, guys, I want to explain the important parts of washing the dishes. So the first thing so the first thing you will do is I want to tell you how do you properly wash dishes so you guys could understand what it is. So, to effectively wash dishes by hand, first scrape off any excess food, then fill the sink with hot soapy water. Wash the dishes from least to most soiled. Rinse thoroughly and finally dry them with a clean towel. Here's more here's a more detailed breakdown of the dishwashing process. Preparation: scrape. Remove any large food particles from the dishes and place them in the trash or compost bin. Sort. Separate dishes from types: glasses, plates, bowls, pots, etc. to make washing more efficient. Soak if needed. For heavily soiled stuck on food, soak dishes in hot soapy water before washing. Washing. Fill the sink. Fill the sink with hot soapy water using a good amount of dish soap. Wash in order. Start with the least soiled items like glasses and flatwares and work your way to the dirtiest item like pots and pans. Scrub. Use a sponge or a scrubber to scrub the dishes, keeping them under the soapy water. Rinse thoroughly. Rinse each dish thoroughly under hot water to remove all soap residue. Drying. Air dry or towel dry. Allow the dishes to air dry or a drying rack to wipe them dry with a clean towel. So, so when you put the dishes in the dryer, you don't want to overload the dishes in the dish rack because or the dish rack because we don't want the dishes to fall and we have to rewash them again. So as best you can do is you can get a towel, dry some of the dishes and put them away. So before you dry the dishes, make sure, so this is the whole purpose of you washing the dishes is when you wash dishes, you have to touch the surface, right? So let me turn this off first. So let's say this phone is the surface, right? Let's say let's say you have this plate in your hand that you wash and you touch the surface. So that means is the surface clean? So the first time you wash it, let's say the first time you wash your plate, right? So you put soap and water on it and you scrub the plate. Let's say the phone is the plate, right? And you wash the dishes and let's see. let's see. Let's say this is the sponge, right? This is not a sponge, but this is the project that I made. So let's say this one is the sponge and this is the plate, right? And you put soap and water into the sponge, right? And you wash the plate the first time. So you use the plate, you take the plate. Well, first you add soap and water to the sponge. You take the plate, you take the sponge, and you wash around the plate, right? So you don't wash the front of the plate, you have to wash the back of the plate, right? So you have to wash the back of it too to make sure it gets soap and water, right? So now once the plate is washed, you have to rinse it off with water, right? See? Let's see if this is the water, right? You have to rinse it off with water. So now you rinse it off with water and so let's test the plate again. So is the plate clean? So now if the plate is clean, you put it in the dish rack. So now let's let's wash the plate for the second time. So you add soap and water to it and you wash the plate, because this is not even a plate, it's a phone actually, so I'm just using this phone as a plate to remind you guys. So you add soap and water to it and you use the sponge to wipe the plate, and you wash the back of the plate, and then you rinse it off, and you touch the plate, and so you touch the plate, and it has food stains, and greasy parts to it. So is that plate clean? No. So that means the plate is still dirty, it's still greasy, and now you just touch all over the plate. So now that means you have to rewash it again to make sure it's clean, because you can't just wash it the first time and put it on the dish rack and say that it's clean. You have to wash all parts of the dishes to make sure you have to wash all parts of the dishes to make sure it's clean. You can't just put it in the dish rack and say, oh, it's already clean, because it's not clean. So you have to add some more soap and water to it to make sure it's clean. So now I'm going to try this one more time to show it to you guys again. So you add soap and water, you add your soap and your water, and you wash the plate with both sides, right? And you rinse it off again, and now you touch the plate. So is the plate clean or dirty? It's clean now, because you washed it again the second time. So now the plate is clean. You see this? The plate is clean. So now it's not dirty anymore. So now you can put this in the dish rack. So this part you're not using is a phone. It's not really a plate. So I'm just using this phone as a plate to give you an example of how you should wash dishes. So now it's clean. So when you wash the dishes and you have that, if it has that squeaky sound, that means it's clean. If you wash the dishes and it doesn't have that squeaky sound to it, that means the dishes are still dirty or greasy, because the fact that you didn't wash it good. You didn't wash it, so that means you have to wash it again to make sure that it's clean. You have to wash it a couple of times to make sure it's clean, so that it won't be greasy or dirty. So now clean and dry the sink. So after you wash the dishes and stuff, you have to clean and dry your sink after you wash the dishes. So you add, so the same thing that you do for the dishes is you have to add soap and water to the sponge. So it says tips for efficient dishwashing. Use warm water. Warm water enhances cleaning power and makes dishwashing or makes washing dishes more comfortable. Don't overload the sink. So, washing dishes in batches to keep the water clean and soapy. Soak stubborn stains. For bake-on foods or grease, soak the dishes in hot soapy water before washing. Use a good dish soap. You choose a dish soap that effectively cuts through the grease and grime. Don't pour grease down the drain. Grease can cause clog. Don't pour grease down the drain, because grease can cause clogs. So scrape it into the trash, or compost bin. Use a dishwasher as overflow. If you have a dishwasher, use it for regular dishes and hand wash only when necessary. So a dishwasher is easier as opposed to washing dishes. So like I was saying, guys, when you wash dishes, you always have to touch the surface of the dishes. You have to touch the front of it, the back of it, the sides to it, and you also have to check the insides. So you have to make sure that it's not greasy or anything. So if the dishes have food or grease into it, you wash the dishes again and make sure you scrub the dirt part of it to make sure. Like the um like the plate that I was showing you with the phone, you have to, and the sponge with the knitted ripples and stuff that I was showing you, have to make sure that the dishes are fully clean. So I'm going to use my plate for example one more time to make sure. So the first thing you can do is add soap and water to it. You rub the plate and you rub the back of the plate to make sure it's washed, and you rinse the plate off and you touched it with your hands to make sure it's clean. So now that the plate is clean, you see this? It's clean now. So now what we want to do is you want to put the dishes in the dish rack and let it dry for a few minutes, or you could dry some of the dishes and put them away. You don't have to put away, you don't have to dry and put away all the dishes, just some of it, so that you don't overflow the dishes. Because when you overflow the dishes, then stuff is gonna fall out, and or if you overflow the dishes with glass inside the dish rack, then glass break easily, and people's gonna have to get a broom to sweep that up. So don't put glass in with the rest of the dishes, because glass break easily. And you know how many times that glass break, and no ever that people will get a broom and sweep it up. And once there's glass everywhere and you're not gonna be able to get it up, you gotta have to wear hard shoes. You gotta have to wear shoes with hard bottoms to them, so that you don't stop stepping glass. So remember that. Remember that. Keep glass separate from the other dishes so they won't break or anything. I know it's hard to take care of glass, but that's really important to separate the glass from the other dishes. if you put in glass into the dish rack. Or you can dry the glasses and put them away and put the regular dishes in the dish rack. You see? I'm just making it easier for you guys so you guys don't break any glass. So that's the part of taking care of the dishes and stuff. So you don't only have to do the dishes. So now so you don't just wash the dishes. You have to wipe down the countertops, you have to wipe down the stove, you have to wipe down the microwave, you have to sweep up the floors, and even sometimes you mop the floors too, but it's not really necessary because all you're doing is cleaning up the kitchen. So I mean, it's good to have clean, shiny floors once you mop them. But sweeping is always first. You sweep the floors, make sure it's not dust everywhere, not dirt everywhere. So, when you washing the countertops, same thing with the dishes. You have to wipe down the countertops once. You touch it, if it's clean, then you clean up the counters. If it's not clean, you wipe the counters again to make sure that they are clean. So, don't expect anything different. So, when you enter someone's house, don't expect anything different. You follow the same process as you were when you doing the dishes. So, and wiping down the tables too is important. Same process again and again with the same thing with the dishes and the countertops. Wash the table, fill the table, and wash again. So don't expect anything different. So after you wipe down the tables and stuff, make sure you sweep. So yeah, that's it. So it says don't leave a mess. Clean up after yourself and leave the house as you found it, or even better. So like I was saying, guys, make sure you clean up your mess and make sure stuff is in the garbage. Don't leave empty bottles or open bags of chips and stuff on the floor. Because if you do that, the roaches is going to get into it and then it could eat whatever crumbs and stuff inside of your chips and stuff. Don't leave your crumbs. Don't leave your empty bottles and stuff like that on the floor. You get that up. Get a broom to sweep up the crumbs and stuff so it doesn't get on the floor. So don't expect anything different when you enter someone's house. And all you do is just sit around. So that's why we always clean up behind ourselves so they won't see any messes and stuff on the floor just sitting around. So don't just leave your belongings or anything on the floor, cause that ain't no joke. And I'm telling you guys, it's many people that just left their stuff on the floor, didn't pick it up, didn't clean it up or anything out. They just left it on the floor for other people to clean it up, and that wasn't fair to them because remember, you're a guest and you got invited to their house and they had to go out of their way to make this house clean for you so that you would have came over and you just left your stuff on the floor, didn't pick it up, didn't clean it up, you just left it sitting there. And also, do not leave refrigerated stuff on the floor like the butter, the juice, or anything else. The sodas, if you haven't like drunk the soda yet, you could ask somebody where you could put your sodas at. The sodas, you could put them somewhere. So, so like I said, don't leave refrigerated stuff on the floor like the butter, the juice, or any dairy and stuff, any fruit, any vegetables, stuff that goes in the refrigerator. So if you bring in, so let's say you bring in food from the supermarket and you have food that's has refrigerated stuff like the juice, the butter, the juices, the vegetables, and other stuff like that. Rinse it off and put it in the refrigerator, because you don't want the cold stuff to get warm. So if you leave butter and stuff on the, so if you leave butter on the floor, it's gonna be melted. It's gonna be no good by the time you use it, and it's gonna go right in the garbage. So no, we don't want that. So if you leave the butter on the floor for too long, it's gonna be melted. It's not gonna be any good. So that's why we should not leave anything on the floor. So I'm just letting you guys know. So if you don't know where to put your belongings at, you can ask somebody, or you can ask them who's in charge of the house where you could put your belongings, so they'll tell you where to put it, as opposed you could leave your belongings. So yes. So it's the same as being a good guest, like offer to help with chores such as clearing the table or doing the dishes. So don't just sit around and just let them do all the work. So you just have to offer to help. Like you could ask them, like, is there anything I can help you with? So if you don't want to ask that, you can just go straight to them and help them, because you don't want to make the person to do more work than what they already done, because you know how people is when they come over to your house and they don't respect your house. So you have to respect people's house. So the reason why we have to respect people's houses is because we gotta treat people's houses as they were their own. Wait, was that we have to treat people's houses as we treat our own house. We treat our owns. So the next rule is be respectful of their privacy. Don't pry into their personal belongings or conversation. So it says, so let's see. Don't pry into their personal belongings or conversations. So that means don't touch anything or take anything that doesn't belong to you because you touched their belongings without asking and stuff like that. Certain stuff you just can't do at their house. So let's see what this means real quick. So now, so let's see. Don't. So it says don't pry into their personal belongings. Let's see what this means. So 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 when they try to pry something, they try to find out information about other people's personal lives in a way that is annoying or rude. So so that's mm-hmm. So that's why we don't touch other people's things or or getting involved in a conversation like pride. Let's see what pride into the conversation means before we move on. So let's see. Conversation. So to pry in the conversation means to interrogate or inquire excessively and intrusively into something that is not your business. Something that is not your business. Well, listen. To pry into a conversation means to interrogate or inquire excessively and intrusively into something that is not your business or it's private. Here's a more detailed explanation. Intrusive and unnecessary. Prying implies a meddlesome, meddlesome. So let's see what meddlesome means. So meddling. So meddlesome means fun of meddling or interfering. So what does a meddlesome person means? A meddlesome person gets in your business in a way that's totally annoying. In other words, they meddle respect people's privacy by not being meddlesome. And yetish, the word yenta, is used for people who interferes in other people's business. A defining quality of the yenta is that they're meddlesome. So let me turn off this heater real quick so I can explain it to y'all. So when they get involved in your business and they want to know what's going on in your personal life and your personal business and stuff, that means they just being nosy. They want to know what's going on, and they want to ask questions based on what you're talking about, and you let them know that, oh, I'm just trying, or you be like, oh, I don't want to have this conversation right now because it's rude when you get involved in my personal business, and meanwhile I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the other person, and they know that's rude when they. So what does it mean when somebody meddles? When they meddle, they try to change or have an influence on things that are not your responsibility, especially by criticizing a damaging or annoying way. My sisters always meddling in other people's affair. People shouldn't meddle with things they don't understand. So what that means is, so now people shouldn't meddle things they don't understand. So let's see what this means. So 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 the statement people shouldn't meddle with things they don't understand highlights the importance of respecting boundaries and avoiding interference in matters beyond one's comprehension, emphasizing the values of humanity and understanding. Here's a breakdown of why this sentiment is important. Respect for expedite and boundaries. When someone attempts to meddle in an area they don't understand, they risk undermining the expertise un- undermine the expertise of those who do. and potentially causing harm or disruption. Potential for harm. Meddling can be Meddling can lead to unintended consequences, mistakes, or even damage to relationship or situations. Importance of humanity. Acknowledge your limitations and refrain from acting when you lack the necessary knowledge or experience. Focus on personal growth. Instead of trying to fix or control what you don't understand, focus on expanding your knowledge and understanding. Building trust. By respecting boundaries and avoiding meddling, you can build trust and foster positive relationship with others. So now when you're meddling someone, you're trying to ask questions or be interested. Well, when you meddle somebody, you're trying to get involved in a conversation in a way that's not your business, or you trying to be nosy, knowing what somebody is talking about or doing. That's another thing. So when you try to change or have an influence on things that are not your responsibility, especially when you're criticizing in a damaging and annoying way, that means you're meddling or you're a busybody. So that means you're a busybody. So that's called being a busybody. So a busybody is a nosy, meddling person who's very interested in what other people say or do. If you're a busybody, you can't help offering advice to friends whether they want it or not. Busybodies are known for trying to help with situations in which they're not necessarily welcome or needed. So when you're a busybody to someone, that means you're trying to be nosy and see what other people are saying or doing. And meanwhile, you can't be a busybody trying to be nosy and trying to look around and see what somebody is doing, because you don't know what they're talking about and you don't know what somebody is doing unless you see them. So that's why people are busybodies, because they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're saying. So that's why they're trying to get information from them, and they're trying to see what they're talking about. So so now so now because of the fact that they can just get into a conversation instead of just trying to be a busybody and trying to see, and instead of trying being a busybody and trying to know what somebody is really talking about, because at this case it's not good. It's not really good. So instead of being a busybody, a person can focus on their own tasks, set boundaries, and cultivate a positive and respectful environment, whether at work or in personal relationships. So here's a more detailed breakdown of how someone can shift from being a busybody to being more productive and respectful. Focus number one. Focus on your own responsibilities. focus on your own responsibilities. Prioritize your tasks instead of constantly seeking out other people's problems. Instead of constantly seeking out other people's problems, concentrate on completing your own work and responsibilities effectively. Manage your time. Learn to prioritize and manage your time effectively, so you can focus on your own projects and avoid getting drawn into others' affairs. Set boundaries. Learn to say no. It's okay to decline requests or offers that don't align with your priorities or responsibilities. Respect other space. Don't intrude on others' personal or professional life and allow them to manage their own affairs without your interference. Communicate clearly. When you need to decline an offer or set a boundaries, do so politely and clearly, explaining your reasoning if necessary. And you might say, I appreciate you trying to help, but I don't need you getting involved in my personal conversation. I need you to focus on your own stuff, not what we're talking about and not what everybody else is talking about or saying. So now, because instead of you focusing on us, you're not focusing on what you're supposed to do. You're being a busybody to us and not focusing your own thing. So that means they might say that too, because you don't want to get drawn into people's conversation and you don't know what they're talking about. If you don't know what they're talking about, walk away. If you want to get involved in this conversation, come back. But don't get drawn into other people's conversation and you don't know what they're talking about. No, that's not it. So number 3, foster a positive environment. Practice empathy. Try to understand others' perspective and situations rather than jumping to conclusions or offering unsolicited advice. Be a good listener. Pay attention to what others are saying and avoid interrupting or dominating conversations. Offer constructive feedback. When you do offer feedback, do it so in a respectful and constructive manner, focusing on specific behaviors rather than making personal attacks. Encourage collaboration. Work with others to achieve common goals rather than trying to control or manipulate situations. Focus on solutions. Instead of dwelling on problems, focus on finding solutions and working together to overcome challenges. So what does don't be a busybody means? So don't be a busybody refers to the idea of not meddling in other people's affairs or a situation. It describes someone who takes it upon oneself to meddle and interfere in other people's life and who is excessively nosy, gossipy, or meddling. So this is, what is the difference between busy and busybody? Busybodies can look busy, but in reality, they are busy with things that don't concern them. As a result, they neglect the work they should be doing. So are you really that busy? So now they're asking, like, are you that busy that you're not working with something that you're not supposed to? So now because of the fact that instead of you focusing what you so in the sentence it says busybodies can look busy, but in reality, they are busy with things that don't concern them. As a result, they neglect the work they should be doing. So, so the question is, do you look busy? So the question in this situation is, do you look busy? And instead of you focusing on your own stuff, instead of just focusing on your own work, you rather get involved in other people's conversations without even focusing on your work. So when you're busy with things that don't concern them, they just worry about what's going on in other people's life and not focusing on what they need to be focusing on. And that's the thing with nosy and busybody people, because they think, oh, it's okay to nose in other people's conversations and without them knowing what they're talking about and whatever, and without doing what they have to do, they rather nose in other people's conversations. And that's the problem too. You can't just nose in other people's conversations without knowing what they're talking about. That's what I'm saying. In the conversations, you can't certain things you can't do. And that's why I say ask questions first if you don't know what they're talking about. So let's see what nosing means. So nosing is an idiom with multiple meanings, including to be reading or to be snooping or prying or to events cautiously. So nosing is like prying, like when you're trying to nose in people's conversations. So now, because of the fact that it is not good to be meddling or busybodies in this situation, so let's move on to the next rule. So the next rule is, don't bring uninvited guests. Unless you have permission, don't bring other people to the house without your host's knowledge. So if you want to bring your guests into other people's house, you have to ask your host first if it's okay for them to come over to your house. Same thing when you invite yourself. Same thing, same rules apply. You don't invite yourself into other people's houses without permission. You don't invite your guests over to their house without permission. You ask first. So let's see, what can you ask? So if you bring your guests over to other people's houses, you have to ask first. So let's see what this is. So if you want to bring guests over to the host's house, what can you ask? So let's see. So when you plan to bring guests to the host's house, you can ask about their preferences, dietary restrictions, and any specific needs or expectations they have for the visit, such as activities or preferred time to arrival and departure. So you might ask them, Is it okay if I could bring another guest over? Or you could ask, can my friends come over here to hang out for a little bit or to spend the night? They might say yes or they might say no, depending on the situation. So that's why that's why you have to ask first before you bring guests over. So don't bring uninvited guests. So that means they don't want any extra people to come over to their house without any knowledge or without any yeses or without any answers. So that's why we need to check that first before we check that first before we need to bring any guests over. So don't overstay your welcome. Be mindful of the time and don't stay longer than you expect to. Ask before leaving. Is it always a good idea? It's always a good idea to ask your host if it's okay to leave. Don't be needy or a pain in the butt. Be a pleasant and considerate guest. Watch your alcohol intake. Don't get too drunk and be a narcissist because even if people drinks too much, like if you're gonna drink it in moderation. Don't just drink so nuisance. Let me go back to the rule. It says so don't so watch your alcohol intake. Don't get too drunk or be a nuisance. So that means don't cause inconvenience or annoyances. So it says a person, thing, or circumstances causing inconvenience or annoyances. So nuisance. So what I mean don't be a nuisance, meaning don't cause inconvenience or annoyances. Cause sometimes when people drink too much and they cause inconvenience, annoyances, we don't want to do that. So you have to drink. So if you're gonna drink, you have to drink in moderation, so you don't get too drunk. It's okay to drink every once and again. Like you can have one drink, or you can have two drinks, but you can't have more than well. It depends on how many drinks you're gonna have. But I understand, like some people wants to be careful of how much they drink, and some people just don't care. They just get drunk whenever they want to. They just don't care if they don't remember nothing. They don't care about how other people might react, and they just don't care what is gonna happen to them if they drink too much, and they don't even know the circumstances they gonna have when they drink too much. So that's why we need to watch. That's why we need to watch how much alcohol that we drink. I mean, so you can mix your drinks with juices and stuff, or you can make whatever drink you want. So as long as you know every single person has to know how much they're drinking. So now it's because even though when they get too drunk, they just tend to fall asleep and not even wake back up. And the next day they get up in the morning and they don't remember what happened the night before. And that's what most people will do when they drink too much, and then that's what happens to them because they don't know what happened. And now you're just sitting there looking crazy and you don't know what happened, and it's like, what happened the night before? What did I miss? Because you was drinking too much, and that's why you don't know what caused you to drink so much that you had to fall asleep and you didn't know. So that's what happens when we drink too much. But don't drink out of moderation, because if you drink out of moderation, then it's gonna leave your brains messed up, and you're not gonna remember nothing. You're not gonna remember anything. So that's why it's good to drink in moderation. Like, drink whenever you can. Drink a little bit. You can drink some, not a lot, but you can drink whatever you want, as long as you don't drink too much, because you're not going to function or know anything. So that's why we should watch our alcohol intake. So it says, use a plate or a napkin. Don't walk around with food in your hands. So that's why your host has plates for you. So you can ask the host, can I get a plate, please? Or you can ask your host if they can get you a plate. Or they might tell you what the plates are. So now it says, don't leave cups, plates lying around. Put them in the kitchen when you're done. So like I said, guys, don't just leave your messes everywhere. Just clean it up. If you have any dirty dishes that you need to put in the sink, you have to wash them to make sure you keep the sink clean, because the sink wasn't just like that before you got there, so you have to wash them. Remember the rule process of the dishes that I gave you. Wash them, check. Wash them, check, and put in the dish rack. So this is how you wash the dishes. Same thing with the counters. Wash, check. Wash, check. Done. Stove, table, same process. So it says, help them with simple tidying. Offer to load the dishwasher or clear away leftover food. So now, because of the fact that if people in a house has a dishwasher, you can just sit the dishes in a dishwasher, and it'll wash dishes for you. You don't necessarily have to wash dishes by hand, but some people would rather wash dishes by hand than put in a dish rack. Dishwasher. What am I even saying? Yo. So it says, throw your rubbish in a bin. Don't leave trash lying around, or you can throw it in the garbage. Because sometimes people be leaving stuff everywhere and don't even know it. Put it in the trash. So don't leave your trash lying around. Like, don't leave open bags. Do not leave empty bags of chips or candy wrappers or empty bottles just laying around. If they're empty, throw in the garbage. Don't just leave it around for other people to see. If you have empty soda bottles or soda cans or alcohol bottles, throw them away. Because if you don't throw it, so if you leave your trash everywhere, you're gonna case of getting bugs and roaches and stuff. They are nasty. They are very nasty. And I'm telling you right now, if you leave anything that has any liquor and stuff, like cups with juices on the table, so if you have a cup that has juice in it, or if you're done with it, pour it out in the sink. And if you're still drinking it, you can drink it. But the difference is, you have to clean up your mess and keep their house clean to how it's looking. Cause it wasn't looking like that when you got there. That that's why you have to be respectful of their house. So that's the rules. So that's the rules of hanging out at their house. So the house guest is a little bit different. So I'm gonna tell you the definition of the house guest. So a house guest is when you stay longer or when you spend the night at their house. So a house guest is when you stay a long period of time. So let's say if you say so let's say so when you so let's talk on the phone real quick. So let's say the remote is the phone, right? It's not necessarily a phone, but this is the phone, right? So let's call your host and say, see if you can spend a night at their house. So now, so let's see what are the, so let's see. So, so now let's see. So it says, what questions can you ask a host? Oh, cell phone. So it says to politely inquire about spending the night with a host via cell phone. You can say, I'm going to use this as a phone. This is not the phone. This is the remote. This is the remote to the TV. So I'm going to use this as a phone. So, okay. So to politely inquire about spending the night with a host via cell phone, you can ask, "Hi, host's name. I was wondering if it would be okay for me to stay over at your place tonight. Is there any is there any space available? If so, what would be the best way to contact you?" So they might say yes or they might say no. So here's some more detailed questions you could ask depending on the context and your relationship with the host. So it says general questions. General questions. Would it be okay if I stay over at your place tonight? Do you have any space for a guest to sleep? Is there anything I should know before staying over? So they might tell you the rules of what you need to do before you get to the host's house. Is there anything I could bring? What time do you usually go to bed? What time do you usually wake up? So does it really matter what time the host go to bed or what time the host get up? It doesn't matter. Questions like that doesn't matter what time they go to bed or wake up in the morning. Um So you should know anything out. So the host can go to bed and wake up anytime. So it doesn't really the question that the two parts of the questions don't require because they can go to bed and get up whatever time they want to, whatever time they want. So let's see. Is there anything I should know about the house rules? They might tell you. They might tell you to clean up your mess and put your belongings in there somewhere, or or you might ask the host where you should put your belongings. So when you're a house guest, you have to help clean up, and you have to clean up your mess, and you have to offer help. You have to help with the host. Well, you have to help the host with the dishes and help set up the tables. You have to help wash the dishes. You have to help prep with cooking. You have to help with sweeping and mopping the floors, wiping down the counters, wiping the stove. You have to help them with all that, with cleaning, with wiping down the bathrooms. You have to do everything to help. Well, you don't necessarily have to do everything, but you have to help with something because you're not just going to their house to just sit around. Because if they found out that you were sitting around, chilling, doing nothing, on your phone all day, on social media, whether you on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or Snapchat, whatever social media that you're on, it's not that important. The importance it is that you help clean up because you know their guests might come over to their house, so you expect them to get up and help clean up. So now, and you also have to look out for your kids. That's what's important. So once I read the questions, then I'll go over the rules where you have to watch out for your kids and stuff. So yeah, so that might be the part of the rules. I might explain that last after the rules. Hold up, I'm not sure yet. So it says, are there any pets that I should be aware of? Yes, that's that's the pets that you wear up. So is there any particular area I can relax? You can relax anywhere. You can relax in a room, you can relax in the living room, you can relax anywhere. So as long as you don't be in the way, so that's all that fine. Is there anything I should know about the bathroom? Yes. So when you use the bathroom, well, you can use the bathroom first. So when you use the bathroom, you flush down the toilet, and once you flush down the toilet, you pull the seat up. You push the toilet seat up, after you pee, you close up the toilet seat, you flush the toilet, and you push the toilet seat up. So now let's say this part is the toilet flush. So you close down the toilet seat, you flush the toilet, and you push the toilet seat up like that, right? So this is how you do it. So they might tell you that they clean up the bathroom. So you also should know that you should clean up the bathroom each and every time or before when the guests come over. So that's the time that people should clean the bathroom. So, or they might tell you that certain things is a cleanup day. So they expect them to get up and clean up, help them clean up. So like the bathrooms have to be clean, the rooms have to be clean, the kitchen has to be clean. So you don't know what they might say or what they might do on a particular day. So a cleanup day is one day. So a cleanup day is where everybody should expect to get up and clean up the house, right? So when they have a guest coming over, and they coming over for a party, for a barbecue, or for a party, they expect the house to be clean. Like the bathrooms should be clean, the rooms should be clean, or if there's any little babies that they have, you must close the room door so they won't get into the room. So that's the rules of change. That's the rules of that they must follow. So the bathrooms you can just easily clean. Like you can use disinfectant with a sponge, or you can spray around the sinks and whatever. So you can spray down the sinks and everywhere. So it's about, so they might, so so when you so when you so let's say, so when you blow up the bathroom, you should always spray and open up the window so people won't smell your, so people won't smell your your, your doodle or anything. You blow up the bathroom. I don't even know. Some people will blow up the bathroom and don't even spray. So yes, when you blow up people's bathrooms, it's always good to spray the bathroom before you come out or open the window. Or, well, you can spray and open the window so they won't smell it. So it's always good to keep the bathroom clean so you're just not going in there and just dirty up the bathroom. So it says, is there anything I should know about the kitchen? Yes. So, like I was saying about the kitchen earlier, it's always good that you have to wash the dishes, wipe off the countertops, wipe the oven, no, not the wipe the oven, wipe the stove, the microwave, and you have to sweep up the floor. So if there's any messes in the kitchen, like either the counters or on the stove, you have to clear the messes that's on the stove. Or if it's food that they made is left out, you wrap it up in some foil. And the thing is, when you wrap up food, you have to make sure the food is covered properly. You don't want to leave like your food uncovered and then the food won't be good the next day. So you gotta make sure your food is covered properly. So either you can use like 2 or 3 pieces of foil to wrap up the food so the food won't or so the food um so the food won't go bad. Or you can use only 1 piece of foil. Just make sure it's closed. But I prefer to use 2 or 3 pieces of foil so it's not like, so the food doesn't go bad, because you guys might have leftovers the next day that you should have it. So um so now that we know about the kitchen, so is there anything I should know about the TV or stereo? Not necessarily. Like, you could put on whatever you want to watch. It doesn't matter. So when the only time, so when the babies or when people are sleeping, you must turn it down some so they won't hear it. Like the music that you have on the TV, turn it down, cause they don't want to hear all the loudness while they sleep. Cause that's part of respect, and I know that for a fact. Is there anything I should know about the phone? Not necessarily. You can use it as long as you want. As long as, anything about the phone? Well, not necessarily, because you can use it as long as you want. As long as you don't sit around and be on social media, just be on social media. Like, I know some people would like to be on social media, but not when it's on the day of a cleanup day. Because sometimes they might tell you that on the day of the cleanup day, they expect to be cell phones off on the day of a cleanup day. Or if they have stuff to do in general, we can just help out. Just help out so it can be less work that could be done. So it says, is there anything I should know about the car? Um, Person who drives is you shouldn't be leaving your car at night without turning it off. And you don't run the gas until it's all gone, because if you run the gas until it's all gone, you're not gonna have any gas left to drive your car. So, to save gas, turn off your car and make sure it's turned off, and make sure you close the car and lock it. That's it. That's all you got to do. Is there anything I should know about the neighborhood? Um, the neighborhood might be noisy or might be quiet, so they might tell you that once you get to know the neighborhood. Is there anything I should know about the family? Yep. Is there anything I should know about the pets? Yes. Is there anything I should know about the kid? Yes. Is there anything I should know about the guest? Yes. So they might set up rules for that as well. Is there anything no Is there anything I should know about the activity? Yes. I don't know how many questions are there to really answer. So many. Oh my goodness. My goodness. It says, question about the host's schedule. What are your plans for tonight? Do you have any plans for me? Are you busy tonight? Are you available to talk tonight? Are you going out tonight? Are you going to be home all night? What time will you be home? Or what time would you be going to bed? Last question, it doesn't matter because they go to bed whatever time they want. So the other question set for the last question. Last question I'm gonna answer, it doesn't matter what time they go to bed. So questions about the stay. Is there anything I should bring? Yes. Should I bring my own pillows and blanket? Not necessarily, because they already have pillows and blankets for you to sleep in. So you don't have to bring that part to their house. Um can I bring my own toilet toiletries? Toiletries? Toilet tries? Let me see. Toiletries. Toiletries? Toiletries is articles used in washing and taking care of one's body, such as soap, shampoo, and toothpaste. Toiletries. Toiletries? Should I bring my own toiletries? Um, they might have that at their house, so you might not have to bring one, unless if you want to. So, can I bring my own snacks? Yes, they might say yes or they might say no, or they might have snacks at their house. Can I bring my own drinks? Well, yes, cause I know some guests doesn't want them drinking up all their juice. Snacks? Yes, you could bring your own snacks, but not too much. So they might tell you how many snacks you might have to bring. And the drinks, they might tell you what how much snacks and drinks they might have you bring to the sleepover. So you can't expect to bring too much because it's going to be a lot to put away. So make sure you bring enough snacks and drinks with you to the sleepover so that everybody can have snacks and drinks. So now that we got this all covered, now the next question says, can I bring my own phone charger? Yes, you should bring your own phone charger because you want to have a charger to charge your phone. Can I bring my own books or movies? Um, they should have books and movies. They should have books and movies, so you don't have to bring that part. Can I bring my own music? You can connect your music to the speaker or anything, because you should have music on your phone, so you don't have to bring your own music. Can I bring my own games? Sure. Can I bring my own toys? Toys? Toys and games, the same thing. They might let you know how much toys and games that they might have you bring to the sleepover. Can I bring my own clothes? Yes. you should bring your own clothes to the sleepover. Make sure you have enough clothes for the days that you're staying. Because if you don't bring enough clothes with you, then you're going to be stuck having nothing else to wear. So when you go to when you sleep over at somebody's house, you always have to bring your clothes with you. So that's important. And your pajamas too, because your pajamas is the sleeping. So make sure you bring enough clothes and pajamas to for in order for the days that you're staying. Um, can I bring my own shoes? Yes, you can only bring. Make sure you bring. I don't know. I can't even tell how much pair of shoes. You can get a pair or two shoes with you, so just in case if you guys go out somewhere and you guys hang out at at a restaurant or somewhere fun. Should I bring my own underwear? Yes, bring your own underwear. Can I bring my own socks? Yes, bring socks as well. Can I bring my own pajamas? Yes. That's so like I said, you should always bring your pajamas for the days that you're staying. So the days that you're staying, that means you have to bring certain things. So you always have to bring your pajamas. Can I bring my own nightgown? Sure. Nightgown does matter. So as long as you don't overload your suitcases, everything should be fine. So when you about to bring clothes to the sleepover, make sure you fold up your clothes properly so your suitcase doesn't rip or the zipper doesn't come off. Because when you pack disorganized and your clothes is half folded or balled up or clothes that's just sitting on top, then your suitcase is gonna break, and then you have to buy another one. And and then you don't have money like that to buy another suitcase. So that's why you want to pack you want to pack organized, and you could put your shoes somewhere, either in the back, or if you have more space in your suitcase where you put your shoes, you could put it in your suitcase so it's easier to carry. So that means you can't pack too much stuff because you're gonna lose everything and then wind up not having to find everything that you have. So make sure you have enough stuff with you. Not too much, not too crazy. So now, I'm gonna go over the rules for the house guests. So, the same answers they might give you if you want to spend the night at their house. So now, they might say yes, or they might say no, or they might say they're busy. So these are answers that they might give you if you want to spend the night at their house. So even if you're staying for a couple of days, then you have to make sure you might have to I don't know, if you stay at your host house, you have to make sure that you bring enough stuff with you so you won't forget. And also bring a toothbrush with you. Forget about that. Bring a toothbrush and your slippers. Cause you can't use the hostess toothbrush to brush your teeth with because it's nasty and your breath gonna be smelling worse than what your breath is gonna smell. So they have toothpaste provided, so you don't have to bring your toothpaste. Just bring your toothbrush with you, so you'll know you have a toothbrush with you, so you can brush your teeth and stuff in the morning. So now, I'm gonna go over the rules for the house guests. it's gonna be same rules apply when you're let's see. So when you're hanging out at somebody's house, so you're staying there for a long period of time. So either if you can spend a night, or you can so either you can, even if you're spending the night at someone's house, or if you're going to stay for a long period of time, if you're going to stay for a long period of time, so that, so if you're going to be staying here for 1 week or 2 weeks, you must follow the same rules imply. So same rules imply for the visit, for the guests. So I want you guys to pay attention to this rule, because it's very, very important to know this before you enter someone's house. So as a good house guest, you have to be mindful of your host's space and routines, right? So you don't want to come in, you can't just come in and just talk, 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 talk. You can't be in the chatter box and just be talking. You say hi, how are you, and sit down. If you want to have a conversation, you can go into the host and you can have a conversation. But don't just be coming in and just be saying stuff whatever you feel like it. That's why you have to be mindful of your host's space and routine. Because you can't just walk into the door and just don't say, and then don't just say nothing, or just keep saying stuff just because. Because sometimes the host gets annoyed. It's gonna make a host get annoyed. So you say hi, how are you, and sit down. So you can chill the first day of the hangover until until you stay. So yes, so on the first day of your house guests, you can sit and chill. You don't have to do anything on the first day. They're gonna tell you the rules and regulations that you have to follow when you're hanging out at someone's house. So now that we just gotta give the host some space and time, so we don't wanna get into the conversation right away. So when you go into someone's house, you put your belongings away, or you can ask them where you should put your belongings, so that they don't see your belongings. So if you need help with your belongings, you can ask them if you can bring your belongings upstairs, or you can ask them, is it okay if I can put my belongings in the closet, or is it okay if I can put my belongings in the room, somewhere safe where they don't see it. Because if they see your belongings just sitting there, they're gonna tell you to remove all your belongings or put your belongings away. Because don't just leave it sitting there just for them to see it. So like I said, don't just leave your belongings laying around and not put it away, because that's not fair to your host. So your host is going out of their way to clean up for you, clean up before you got here, and they know that the mess wasn't like this when you got in, and the host didn't expect. So when you come in, put your belongings away, and once your host sees that the area is clean, then you should be good. So when you come in and you leave your belongings everywhere, and your host see this, your host didn't expect this from you. They expect you to put your belongings up and away. They don't want to see your belongings in a way, and they don't want to see your belongings in a way and not be picked up and put away. So even if you're bringing snacks or drinks, you should put them away accordingly, not just leave it out, because we don't want bugs and roaches to get into it, and we don't want molded food. So, no leaving your belongings on the floor. Put it somewhere where they don't see it. So now, offer to help with chores or cooking. So like I said, make sure you get up and do what you're supposed to do and not have the host say something to you more than once. Keep shared spaces tidy. Like, keep them clean and not dirty up the place. So that's what it means to keep share space tidy. Like, keep them clean, not just leave it dirty for the host to see. You can't just dirty up the house after they just cleaned it. So that's why we should respect their house and their hospitality. And hospitality hospital hospital hospitality. So, and show appreciations for their hospitality. So let's see what hospitality is. Hospitality. So hospitality is the friendly and genuine reception and entertainment of guests, visitors, or strangers. So hospitality means extending a welcome to guests or offering a home away from home. So hospitality is when you welcome a guest to offer a home away from home. So this is the word derived from the Latin word host. Let's see, hopes. 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 Hopsy. Hopes. Host. Let's see. Hopes. Hopes. Meaning like hopes. 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 Let's see. Hopes. Hopes. Meaning hosts, visitors, or so hospitality is when you extending a welcome to guests or offering a home away from home. So now that because of the fact that they welcome you to their house and they let you stay for a couple of days. So that's why we should show our appreciation for the host to let you in. So here's a more detailed look at house guest etiquette. Respect your host's space and rules. Respect their lead. Pay attention to their routines, preferences, and any house rules they might have. Ask for permission before using anything that belongs to the host unless they give you a go ahead. Keep noise levels down. Avoid loud phone calls or shouting. Be mindful of quiet hours. Mind share spaces. Clean up after yourself in the kitchen, bathroom, and living areas. Offer to help. Offer to help with chores. Offer to help with cleaning, cooking, or other tasks. Be adaptable. Be ready for anything or for nothing and be willing to adjust to the host's schedule. Don't overstay your welcome. Like I said, don't stay longer than what you expected. Keep your visit short and sweet. Generally, no more than 3 nights. No, not 3 nights, but if your host said it's okay to stay as long as you need, they might say you can stay as long as you need, as long as you don't make any noises or do anything crazy. So it says, show appreciation. Bring a gift, a thoughtful gift, or a small gesture of thanks can be a nice way to show your appreciation, or it should say, bring a gift if needed. So when their birthday is coming up, or when it's Mother's Day is coming up, or any holiday that comes up, like Christmas or Valentine's Day or Mother's Day or their birthday. So it's always good to bring a gift to people on holidays and their birthday and stuff. So it says, say thank you. Express your gratitude to your host for their hospitality both during and after your visit. Send a thank you note. A handwritten thank you note following your visit is a nice gesture of appreciation. So, when you show your appreciation to somebody, you say thank you, I appreciate your time. So, if you show your appreciations for what they done to you, then they'll do stuff again. They'll do stuff for you again. So you have to say thank you when they do something nice for you, and you don't have to expect people to do it. So you have to say thank you for having me over, or thank you for inviting me to your house, or thank you for helping me, or for cooking, or willing to take care of me. So when somebody does something nice for you, you're supposed to say thank you, or they might say you're welcome, no problem. So once that's being cleared, then they'll be happy that they feel appreciated, and always thanking them for their time and their effort. So yes, you always want to do that. You always want to thank them for their time and their effort. So when you don't show your appreciations, and when you don't say thank you, or when you don't show your appreciations, then they're gonna feel unappreciated, and they're gonna feel let down because you didn't say thank you, or you didn't have no appreciations for what they done for you. So now, because of the fact that when you don't show your appreciations, it's gonna lead to let down feelings. So that's why it's important to show your appreciations for somebody done nice things for you. So now, because of the fact, so now let's see for the host. for host. So because of the fact, so now when you don't show your appreciations to the host, so now failing to show appreciation to the host, so when you don't show appreciation to the host, failing to show appreciations to the host can make you appear ungrateful, entitled, and inconsiderate, potentially damaging your relationship and leaving hosts feeling unappreciated for their effort. So, like I was saying, like when you don't say thank you and you don't show any gratitude, then the host is gonna feel like they feeling disrespected, and not even knowing that you didn't show your appreciations for what they have done for you, and they might not want to do stuff for you again. So if they keep doing stuff for you, and you didn't have and you don't show appreciations for the host, they're not going to keep doing stuff for you again. They're not going to do stuff for you again until you show your appreciations. So that's how it works. Because you can't act entitled and expect people to do things for you when you wasn't nice enough to say thank you, or had the time out to say thank you and I thank them for the time and effort that was being given to you. And it's not fair to the host that's been trying to do things for you and make life easier for you, and it's going out of their way to let them stay at their house for a couple of days. So it's not really fair to the host that has to do that, because they didn't have to go out of their way to make a good they didn't have to go out of their way to to make this well, they didn't have to go out of their way to make this happen for you, or to let you stay for a couple of days. Well, no, they don't have to. So that means they didn't have to go out of their way to do something nice for you when you were being ungrateful the whole time. And the whole time that you was ungrateful, they're not gonna want to do stuff with you, do stuff for you ever again. So that's why it's important to show your appreciations for what they did for you. So now, here's a more detailed explanation. Social norms. In most cultures, expressing gratitude after receiving hospitality is considered a basic social norm. Perception of guests. Not showing appreciation can make guests seem unappreciative or even entitled, as if they believe they are owed something. Impact on relationships. Failing to thank you hosts can damage your relationships with them, as it can make them feel like their efforts and kindness are not valued. What to do instead? Expressing gratitude, whether through a simple thank you or a more elaborate thank you note, is a simple way to show your appreciation for their hospitality. Examples of showing appreciation: saying thank you during and after the event, writing a thank you note or a card, offering to help with tasks, bringing a small gift, being mindful of their needs and preferences. So, yes, that's how you show your appreciations, because you're showing appreciations for your host. Your hosts go out of their way to do everything for you and make everything look good for you before you get to the host's house. So that's it. That's how you show your appreciations for the host's time and effort. So, last thing I want to explain is to look out for your kids. Because when you have a house guest and you're looking out for your kids, you want to make sure that they don't touch anything, they don't break anything, they don't knock over anything. So let's see, how do you deal with your kids? So let's see. So let's see. So now, so before you take your kids to someone else's house, you have to teach your kids how to act straight. So now now like I was saying, because when you have kids and when you have a parent, or you might have kids, you have to let them know that when you go to somebody's house, they let's see. So we're going to somebody's house today. So we must be on our best behaviors. So now we have to, let's see, what can you say to your kids when you go to someone's? So when visiting someone's house with your kids, remind them to be polite, respectful, and follow the house rules, and emphasize the importance of saying please and thank you. Here's a breakdown of what you can say. Before you arrive, remember to be kind and respectful at Name's house, just like you are at our house. Please listen to Name and their parents and follow the house rules. Remember to say please and thank you when you ask for something or when someone is kind to you. Let's be good guests. And make sure we have fun. Do you have any questions about what we're doing today? Upon arrival. Hello, Name. It's nice to meet you. Where your last name? Thank you for having us. It's so nice to be here, and I'm sure we'll have a great time during the visit. Remember to be kind to everyone and share your toys and treats if they ask. If you need anything, please ask, or if their parents. Let's be sure to clean up after ourselves. If you're not sure about something, ask me or their parents before leaving. Thank you so much for having us. We had a wonderful time. It was so nice to meet you, and we'll do this again soon. Goodbye, and thank you for everything. Remember, parents parents or other people's parents are not responsible. Remember, they're not responsible for your kids. Because parents should be responsible for your kids. So, rather, they hanging out or they staying at the host's house. So let's see. There not responsible, responsible for your kids. So, the phrase, they're not responsible for your kids, means that other people like neighbors, friends, or strangers don't have a legal or moral obligation to care for, supervise, or be held accountable for the actions of your children. Here's a more detailed explanation. No legal obligation. Generally, unless someone has a legal guardianship or custody of a child, they are not legally responsible for that child's actions or well-being. Parental parent parental responsibility. The primary responsibility for a child's care, safety, and well-being rests with their parents or legal guardians, not a free pass. This doesn't mean that others can't interfere if they see a child in immediate danger or if they witness a crime. Um, Focus on parenting. The phrase is often used to remind parents that they are ultimately in charge of their children's behavior and actions and shouldn't expect others to take on that role. Example: if your child is misbehaving at a park, it's your responsibility to address the situation, not the responsibility of other parents or park staff unless there is an immediate danger. Focus on self-responsibility. The phrase can also be used to encourage people to take responsibility for their actions and not blame others for their problems. So that's what it is of being a parent is. So you want to so the thing is, you as the parent is responsible of your child. No one else can't take responsibility of your child, because if you see that other people is responsible of your child, that means you're not doing anything to stop your child or to take care of your child like you're supposed to, because every parent is different. So before you leave to go to somebody's house, you must teach your child to behave and not throw the toys everywhere. Don't leave messes behind. Clean up your mess. Don't break anything. Don't knock over anything. Don't touch anything without asking. Do not take things without. Well, you don't take things without. Well, don't take things that doesn't belong to you. So don't do none of the bad stuff at the host's house. So if you see that, if you see your child is doing something wrong, are you just gonna stand there, or are you gonna do something about it? You're gonna do something about it because this is your child. Because this is your child that you're looking out for. Even if it's a little baby that's 1 year old, you're supposed to stop them from getting into stuff like touching the plugs, throwing toys everywhere, pushing one toy to the side, touching their personal stuff. You stop them, you run and stop them. So if they think they're unstoppable, run and get them, pick them up or something, hold them. So yes, so as a mother, you should be responsible of looking out for your child and clean up your child's mess when they play with toys. Or you might tell your child to pick up their mess, but you as the parent supposed to clean the toys after them. So even if you didn't make a mess, you still have to clean it up. So that means having respect for everybody's house is important to the host, because so that the host know that the house was clean, that how it was looking when you came in, right? So the host didn't have to say nothing. The host didn't have to yell and scream. The host didn't have to say nothing. So when you come in and you see that the host and you came in and you see that you left the mess on the floor, then the host is going to get upset because they had to talk to you more than once. They had to keep reminding you of cleaning your mess. And the host is going to say that you can't come back anymore because you left. And well, before I see that, and you were sitting on the couch all day, didn't help to clean up or anything. So the host might say that you can't come back again because you did the things that you wasn't supposed to do and you broke the rules. So if you want to go back to their house again, you have to show that you can be a good guest and you can help people. So it's by keeping the host's house clean and not have to see your belongings sit everywhere. Because we don't want this house to look like the horrors from the show, and you leave your whole suitcase and stuff everywhere. Who wants that? Nobody. So it's good to keep your house clean without the host having to say anything. So once you kept the house clean and the host doesn't have to say nothing, you can come back again because you followed the host's rules and they happy. They happy that they didn't have to talk to nobody, they didn't have to yell at nobody, they didn't have to do anything to nobody. The host was just happy and peace. So I hope you guys like, subscribe, and comment down below on my YouTube video. So if there's any questions or comment, leave the comment here in this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned for another video, and I hope you guys enjoy your night.